Level 1, The Pledge. You don't get a gun, you get a book. It's 22 pages long. You read it twice before bed. It's the code. You memorize it like scripture. You don't fully understand it yet, but you will. Your first job is simple. You carry boxes, you run food to the men on the corner, you sweep the floor of the safe house. You're not a soldier yet, not even close. You're a pledge. The senior men don't speak to you directly. They point to you and move. You sleep in a room with 6 others. Nobody uses their real name. You don't ask questions. You learn fast that questions make people nervous. And nervous men do dangerous things. The senior men quiz you on the code. Rule 12, Rule 29. You answer without hesitation. You swear to protect the poor. You swear to respect women. You swear to not sell to the locals. You swear to die before you talk to the police. You nod and mean every word. You don't know yet what any of it actually costs. 6 months pass before you're considered ready. During that time, you watch. You see how the organization moves money, how it settles disputes, how it handles betrayal. You see a man brought in at midnight who lives in a truck bed. You never learn his name. You never ask. The senior men are testing you now in ways you don't fully recognize. They leave cash on the table and watch to see if you touch it. They ask you casual questions about your family's finances. They introduce you to their cousins and observe how you treat them. This is the real apprenticeship. The book taught you the philosophy. Now they're teaching you the practice. You pass every test because you understand that passing is the only option. One night, a senior man tells you that you're ready. He hands you a gun. It's heavier than you expected. You've never held one before. He shows you how to check the chamber, how to carry it so it doesn't print through your shirt. He doesn't explain what comes next. He doesn't need to. Level 2, The Foot Soldier. You're done carrying boxes. You have a job now, a real one. You collect. Every Tuesday morning, you walk into Tiangas and you stand at the first stall. The owner sees you. He doesn't smile. He hands you an envelope. You put it in your jacket and leave. You do this 12 times before lunch. Sometimes the envelope is light. You note that. You don't say anything in the moment. You go back to your crew leader and report the number. The crew leader handles the rest. You don't watch. You've learned it's better not to watch. You still carry the code in your back pocket. You still believe it. Most of the men around you believe it too. You are protecting Michoacan from the cartels that prey on it. You tell yourself this when you walk past the line farmers handing over their share. You tell yourself they understand the arrangement. Some do, some don't. Either way, the envelope gets handed over. You are earning now, more than your father made in a month. You buy new boots, but you don't relax. You've seen what happens to men who relax. They disappear quietly. That's always worse than loudly. The first year is about proving reliability. You collect the same route every week without variance. You deliver the money on time. You don't skim. You don't steal. You don't talk about the work at home or in bars. You watch the other foot soldiers carefully, noting who moves up and who doesn't. You begin to understand that advancement isn't random. It's assigned to men who demonstrate specific qualities: discretion, loyalty, and ability to hurt people without hesitation when instructed. You cultivate these qualities deliberately. You volunteer for the harder collections. You offer to handle disputes that others avoid. You don't complain about the work. One of your fellow soldiers gets promoted to crew leader after 14 months. You've already been watching his pattern. You know what he did differently. You begin doing it too.
Level 3, The Cell Commander. You have 8 men under you now. You know all their faces. You know their habits, their weaknesses, their families. You are their uncle and their warden both. You hold the meetings. You collect from the foot soldiers and count every bill on the table. You send the correct amount up the chain. You keep your cut. You run your neighborhood like a foreman runs a job site. Everything on schedule, everything clean. Your men don't drink on duty. You enforce that rule your first week. You don't need to enforce it anymore. One of your men stole from a farmer last month, a small amount, barely anything. You reported it to the regional man. You didn't want to, but you did. 3 days later, your soldier was gone. You didn't ask where. You held the next meeting and nobody spoke about it. They all understood. You understood too. The code isn't optional. That's the whole point. You attend the initiation ceremonies now. A man kneels on the floor. Someone touches a sword to his shoulder. You stand at the back and watch. You remember your own night. You were scared. You were also proud. You are still proud. You think about that sometimes late at night when the numbers don't add up, and you wonder exactly what you are building here.
Now you have other responsibilities beyond enforcement. You begin to understand the scale of the operation. The money moving through your cell is the smallest tributary in a larger river. Above you, regional men coordinate between multiple cells. Above them, council members manage entire districts. You start attending briefings where you learn about threats. A federal task force is operating in a neighboring zone. A competing organization is testing your boundaries. The auto defensas are becoming more organized. Though nobody uses that term in meetings yet, you are introduced to men from other cells. You trade information about suspicious activity. You learn the name of judges who can be influenced and police commanders who can be avoided. This is when you begin to understand that what you're running isn't just a protection scheme. It's a shadow government. You're not just collecting money, you're administering territory.
Level 4. The Regional Man. You control 3 municipalities now. You have a map on the wall, red marks for your cells, blue marks for the rivals. You look at it every morning over coffee. The map has been getting more red for 2 years. Now it is slowing down. The auto defenses are organizing. Farmers with hunting rifles and real grievances. You've been told to be careful with them, not to provoke. You've also been told to remind them who keeps order in this valley. These 2 instructions are contradictory. You hold both at the same time and try to act accordingly. You have a satellite phone and a car with plates that change every week. You attend council meetings in houses you've never visited before. You sit at a table with men you only know by their aliases. You report your numbers. You receive your orders. You drive home a different route each time. The auto defenses shot one of your collectors last month. Broad daylight. Nobody was arrested. You know which family gave the order. You've been told to wait. Waiting is the hardest part of this job. You used to think it was the violence. It isn't. It's the patience, knowing when to move and when to stay completely still. Your authority now extends over thousands of people. Some know they're part of your organization. Most don't. The bus drivers, the teachers, the hospital staff, the utility workers. They're all part of the apparatus, whether they understand it or not. Information flows through these networks. You know which government officials are taking money. You know which journalists are investigating you. You know which priests are sheltering people who want to leave. Control means knowing everything. It means having leverage over every significant person in 3 municipalities. You develop sources in places you never expected. The mayor's secretary, the police commander's wife, a radio host who owes you a favor. You don't threaten most of them. You don't need to. The threat is implicit. They know who you represent. They know what refusal costs. Level 5. The council. You don't drive yourself anymore. 2 men in the front seat, 1 posted behind you. You sit in the middle and look out the window at a state you helped construct. Not legally, but built. You attend to 3 things now: money, loyalty, silence. Your territory stretches from the port at Lázaro Cárdenas into the hills above Apatzingan. Ships come into that port carrying chemicals from Asia. You know which ships. You know the schedule. You know the dock supervisors by first name. You also know the judges in 3 districts. Not personally. You know their accounts. The difference matters. You never meet with politicians directly. You have men for that. Men who look like businessmen because they partly are. The money has to live somewhere legitimate. Construction companies, transport firms, packaging plants. You review their monthly reports yourself. You are running a state. Not officially, but you are. Latuda addresses the public on video. He lectures about protecting the poor from outside cartels. You watch the recording sometimes. You helped shape what he says. The ideology is yours as much as his. You believe it, or something close enough to it. You believe that Michoacán needed order and nobody else was going to provide it. That's what you tell the men below you. Most of them believe it. That belief is the most powerful instrument you control. More powerful than guns. More powerful than money. The day it stops working is the day everything costs more. Your position now requires you to think in larger time frames. You're no longer managing immediate territory. You're managing the relationship between your organization and the federal government, between your cells and the auto defenses, between your ideology and the reality of what you're actually doing. You've been in council meetings where men discuss opening legitimate business fronts, restaurants, hotels, a pharmaceutical company. The legitimacy provides cover and laundering capacity. You've approved millions in capital for these ventures. You've also authorized operations that contradict the code you once believed in absolutely. A family was disappeared because they were asking questions. A community leader was killed for organizing resistance. You told yourself it was necessary. You may have been right. You may not have been. The distinction no longer feels important in the same way it once did. Level 6. The Supreme Boss. You recorded a video this morning. You spoke directly to the Mexican people and explained that your organization exists to protect families. You said it clearly. You meant it. You have always meant it. You were a school teacher once. You taught children in a valley the federal government forgot about entirely. Now you run that valley. You run much more. The code you wrote sits on the desk behind you. You know every line. When a man violates it, you authorize the punishment yourself. You don't take pleasure in it, but you don't avoid it either. That is the job. A special federal unit has been hunting you for years. You change houses every 10 days. You trust 3 men completely, maybe 2. The auto defenses are a real problem now. Farmers who decided they were done paying. You don't entirely blame them. You've sent men to negotiate with their leaders. Some conversations went well, some did not. The newspapers call you a warlord. The government calls you a criminal. The men who work for you call you something else. You think about the code often now. You think about whether it still means what it meant at the beginning. You had rules. You had a purpose. Some of those rules bent over the years. Some broke cleanly. You know exactly which ones. You can't say this out loud. The men below you need to believe the code is absolute. They need to believe that what they are doing is something beyond ordinary crime. That belief keeps them disciplined. That belief keeps the whole structure standing. The structure is still standing, but the government is getting closer and the auto defensas are not going away, and 2 of your council members have been talking to people they should not be talking to. You know this. You sit alone in a house with curtains drawn. Outside, a state you built carries on without knowing where you are. You open the code to page 1 and you start reading it again from the beginning, wondering if